arraigo, la idiosincrasia y de dónde venimos, me parece de verdad.
The white chickens are so mad right now. In that clip, they were basically saying, but Mexico's so diverse. Why can't they cast people based on their talent and not on their skin color? Just because we're white doesn't mean we don't represent Mexico. Literally in every telenovela, it's been a white cast. Look at Teresa, look at Ruby, look at Rebelde. I mean, brown people are only the help. We're only the maids. We're only the freaking the people who help the drug dealers. We're always portrayed like that. Like, y'all remember when Yalitza had her movie, people were saying that, well, she wasn't really acting because she's already an Indian, so she wasn't really acting, she was just being herself, as if Yalitza didn't have a whole degree and wasn't a whole teacher. A lot of Mexicans like to argue that there isn't any discrimination in Mexico, but more of different socioeconomic statuses. But obviously, who is in those socioeconomic statuses? It's mainly white people, and it isn't a coincidence.
No, y lo único que están buscando también es seguir separando a la gente, porque...
So obviously they didn't see the movie. Because the whole point of the people from Talocan is that they weren't colonized. Why the fuck would they look like you? And then later on in the interview, in the whatever, their little panel, they're talking about how it's reverse racism. That they're not gonna give roles to white Latinos. Have y'all seen any telenovelas with an indigenous lead? Cause I haven't seen. I mean, I don't watch that stuff anymore, but I haven't. Or let's just look at their panel. Did you see any brown person on that panel? They had to cross over to an American market. They didn't get these jobs in Mexico. No, don't worry. All this racism, all this white supremacy is still alive and well. Don't worry about your jobs.
You know what I saw this weekend? Wakanda Forever. And it was an excellent movie with an excellent person who played Namor. A beautiful brown Mexican man from Mexico played that role. And I have to say it that way. He's a beautiful brown Mexican man from Mexico who played that role. You know why I'm saying it like that? Because you cannot believe what Spanish TV is showing right now. They are showing white colonial mindset. They're asking, why is this beautiful brown man in the role that he is? And how come they didn't pick somebody lighter? And that they feel disenfranchised that it wasn't a white person, a white Mexican. So when you're asking what happened in Florida here, think about that mindset. I grew up watching Spanish novelas, and I have always hated Spanish novelas because they have always shown the black person as the maid. They have always showed them like in funny comedic roles. They have showed them to be below somebody's status on the show. They never had people that were of darker complexion. And many people have hit the nail on the head when they said, is that colonial mindset. I can't believe that this was even airing on the show and nobody was saying anything against it.
Yo, it's your boy, Radical. Now, give a huge shout out to the Latinas right there, breaking it down for you guys. Breaking down what's going on in some of these Latin American countries who are, reviewing the movie and giving their perspective on the movie. Now, again, this is happening within Mexican culture. I'm not Mexican. All Latin people are not a monolith. So I'm just going to talk about it in the perspective of a Latino. You know what I'm saying? And trying to break it down. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm talking for Mexicans or whatever, but I'm gonna somewhat trying to sum the whole thing up, right? First of all, I seen the movie, The Wakanda Forever. It was all right. I'm not out of 5 stars. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was all right. Some of the scenes were all gay and all this other stuff. I really liked how they portrayed Namor and how they portrayed Latino culture and indigenous Latino culture. I really like that. I really like the certain nuances and a certain history the certain things that they had to explain. I like that. Shout out to Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the director and all that other stuff. It had a lot of allegories in it, like, black and brown unity, allegories of interdynamics of us not getting along. It had a lot of allegories, and I found it very, very interesting. So shout out to Marvel for that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Now, this is where it kind of goes. This is where I gotta explain certain things. Now, as you guys saw, some of these some of these Anglo Hispanics are bugging out. And yes, I made a video about Anglo Hispanics and breaking down what Anglo Hispanics are. And basically, let me just break it down real quick. Who are Anglo Hispanics? Anglo Hispanics are the people that don't look Latino whatsoever, even if they're light skinned. Okay, there's no physical phenotype that makes them anywhere near Latino. They look white, they look, Anglo. Basically, they all look Anglo. And when you actually hear them speak Spanish, you're like, oh, you're a Spaniard? No, I'm from Argentina, I'm from Mexico, or whatever the case is. And they got no drop of brown in them. That's what an Anglo Hispanic is. And for the most part, majority of Anglo Hispanics separate themselves from the overall Latino population. Why? Because one, they think they white. You know what I'm saying? Amongst white society, we'll accept them to be white for the most part. But those are our white folks. Again, in the Latino community, that they do not represent us, right? Whatever they do, that's on them, has nothing to do with the overall collective. And this is the reason why I keep on saying that Latinos, black and brown, need to have our own identification. And this is the reason why, because we get lumped in when these Anglo Hispanics speak for us, and they say, oh, they represent your cause and your community, when that's not the case. But either here nor there. Now, let me break down what's going on. For a long time, white supremacy here and abroad has been running rampant, right? That's what it is. That's what white supremacy does. The beauty standard for white supremacy is Anglo white. That's been the standard ever since. Now, times are changing. Times are evolving, and new mindsets and new things are starting to come about. Now, I don't want to hear, well, in Latin America, there's racism too, because there's no representative of black folks. That's that's a straw man argument, and two, that's a nothing argument, because pointing at racism in Latin America is the same thing as pointing at racism in North America. We have the same dynamics. They don't represent black folks here. They don't represent black folks there. Let's keep it 1,000. Now, for the most part, in the Caribbean Latinos, in the media, for the most part, that's changing right now too. That's actually changing. You're starting to see a lot more brown, a lot more black representation in Caribbean media, in Caribbean representation, in Caribbean movies, in Caribbean radio. You know what I'm saying? But for South America and all that, it's starting to change a little bit more, but that's not really the norm. Now, in our music, that's been way different. You know what I'm saying? In our music, it's been way, way, way different. But let's be honest, the Anglo Hispanics are the ones that's on top and running shit and all that other stuff. So let's just keep it 1,000. So these individuals are feeling some type of way because the representation that Marvel decided to go with Namor is a brown Latino. Let's be completely honest right now. The majority of Latinos in the Caribbean or in South Central and Mexico, the majority of us are light brown to black. Let's keep it 1,000. The majority of Latinos are from light brown to black. The Anglo-looking ones are very rare. They're there, but are very rare. Let's keep it 1,000. You go to Argentina and Chile, that's something different. They're not even Latinos. They're like Germans or whatever. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that this is showing colorism within our community that is being perpetuated by the Anglo-Hispanics. And the thing is, we did not invent colorism. Colorism is not something new that came from our community. It's a byproduct of white supremacy. In any colonized community, colonized ethnic group, colonized race has colorism in their community. We have, the Latinos have it, colorism within our community. The Asian people have it, colorism in their community. Even Black Americans and Africans have it, colorism in their community. Any conquered community that was conquered by white supremacy, this is the byproduct of it. Colorism. Why? Because whiteness, getting close to whiteness, is more preferred. So this is something that's been instilled in us through centuries and centuries, generation through generations. This is something that we got to kind of break out of. You feel what I'm saying? But this is what it is. And yes, the Anglo-Hispanics right now are getting a taste right now, a very small taste, and they're bugging out. Oh my God, the misrepresentation. No. Shout out to Marvel and shout out to the director and everybody actually representing Latinos the right way. The majority of Latinos were little white boys running around, white girls running around, not even looking like nowhere near our people. Like for real now, you know what I'm saying? Our songwriters, our singers were more of a representation than they were. You know what I mean? So this is something that we have to definitely, speak out about and definitely call out. Again, it's something that we have to keep on. We gotta do. It is moving to a right direction. You know what I'm saying? But it's happening little by little. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. You guys agree, disagree? With that, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.